know whose tonic water has the secret of shh? Pour it. See how its strength bursts to the top of the glass. Taste it. The difference is almost frightening. That's the secret of shh. The secret is... tonic.
There we are. I actually sorted this out. How about that? Hello everyone. This is Two Smart Arts once again. After 2 years. After
Back
2
the
years,
dead.
Stephen, we're back. We're back and chilling out together.
We are.
Steve, you're in bed
Excitement.
with me today.
I am?
Yes. Well, I'm in bed.
I always knew it would come to this.
Well, that's how it works. Before I ask the one question that everyone wants to hear, I've got to say, I've been feeling weird today, and I've just left going, I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm dizzy. I'm feeling odd. My body is basically tired, but my mind's going, oh no, I can take it on. It's cool. And then I realized, oh yeah, I had a booster yesterday. Yeah, that'll do it. So basically, I'm going to try and enjoy this podcast as much as possible by sort of riding this wave of semi-drunkenness, and I'm going to enhance that with wine to make it not so semi-drunkenness.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm told that there are two cures for semi-drunkenness. One is time and the other is wine. So, and one is more enjoyable than the other.
So, while I hydrate, I'm going to hydrate in another way. So, huzzah.
Huzzah. I love the way there's an oil painting of me on the page.
Oh, yeah. For those who don't know, Stephen is using his new computer, which does not have a video camera. So
it's very exciting.
Yes.
I've got it. My computer is an ongoing source of frustration where every time I think I've got it set up, I discover that there's one more thing that doesn't work.
But hey, that's okay. The most important thing is that we were on Phasmophobia, and we were going, you know what, Stephen, your communication with me is buttery smooth. Let's try Two Smart Arts again.
It's true.
And you said, yeah, that's a really good idea.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
So, as long as your voice can be heard perfectly, which it is, I'm happy to continue, and I'm more than happy to be back once again, and I'm more than happy once again to ask the question, what's that beer, Steve?
Well, Alex, it's funny you should ask. My beer this time is it's a bit of a fancy one. I'm having, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
An eggnog stout.
Whoa! That sounds like a really bad idea, but I want to take part in this really bad idea.
It's sorry, I just heard oh no, it's all good. Yes, I've got, this is Black Hops Brewery. It says made by three mates on the Gold Coast. So this is one of these myriad of independent breweries which is, popped up around the I'm sure, in Australia, but everywhere. A dry Irish stout with subtle notes of nutmeg, cinnamon, vanilla bean, and French brandy. It showcases a mild bitterness through the use of roasted barley and a generous late hop addition. Our first commercial release and a beer that is close to our heart.
I was just about to ask, is this a beer? This doesn't sound like a beer.
I think it's a dating ad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I was feeling aroused while you were talking about that. So, tick. By the way, I'm enjoying my glass of wine here. In case you were wondering, I'm drinking Diablo. Cabernet Sauvignon, which is my go-to wine. So
Where is and what region is this? I
Chile,
mean, are we talking
Chile. We're talking Chile.
Chile? There you go.
Chile.
You know, I don't think I could get a Chilean wine if I tried.
Really?
Like, well, as you can imagine, in the middle of Australia, we don't have a whole lot of Chilean wines. Um,
Do you think that's
yes,
a pride thing because Australia's seen as the place for wine?
I
Everyone's
think
saying
it's
no,
more.
when we don't need any of this European wine.
I think it's more of a question of like, sort of, why would somebody import Chilean wine in the same way? Sorry, let me rephrase this. I don't think we have a lot of Chilean wines for the same reason we don't have a lot of wines from Idaho.
All right.
Um, it's just, and I there's just one would suggest that there's little point. And I don't know much about Chilean wine. I don't know anything about it, but
Well, I don't know anything about Chile wine other than it's here, and I drink it and it's good.
it's
If
a
you
very
if
long way to import wine for no apparent reason, I
that
would say
is
in
yeah,
Australia.
that is true. I mean, I could send you some if you want, but who knows?
It's okay.
We'll sort that
I'm
out
too.
later. So, Stephen,
Mhm.
I was looking at our notes, and I'm thinking this. I mean, I think it's a good idea to re-explain our position. Who are we? Basically, because it's been a
Oh
while. It's
yes,
been 2 years.
I agree.
So basically, we are. I mean, you've constantly called us two smart arts, but I mean, I think that's more of the name of the show. I don't know if grammar says otherwise. But anyway, I have a history in visual arts. I'm a graphic designer and video editor, but I mostly have a history in visual arts. I've done several episodes of the Pretentious Show where I explain modern art to the world. I've
Which is extremely good, may I say, if no one's ever seen this.
Thank
Hey,
you. I
look,
think I think we need
a plot
to
twist has joined
reset.
us.
Thank you
Hello.
very much to a plot twist who has just joined us.
I think she's giving you a flower. I'm
Well,
not
thank you
certain.
very much. I appreciate that. So, as a person who mostly deals with video editing for a job, I also dabble in fine art, and I have a great interest in it. So I will always see myself not so much an expert, but kind of a guru of the art. And Stephen, you are a guru of the, and I look like a guru as well.
You do. You do. Um, well, artistically speaking, my interest is theatre. It's probably fair to say I have two main interests, and I will call them artistic interests. One is theatre. I have a background in theatre. I was a Shakespearean actor for a couple of years. Um, and and the other thing, which I happen to very much enjoy, is gaming.
Yes,
So,
that's right.
so
That is
yes,
so. That is so true. And also, I've got to quickly say, you're a
mm,
really good violinist, and you've used that for times in
oh,
which
you're
I've
too kind.
watched you perform. Really, really good, Stephen.
Oh, you're too kind. I have performed. I have done the music for a number of shows. It's been look, it was it was quite good. It was fun. I did instrumental music for um, Macbeth. I think it was. No, was it Macbeth? One of the Shakespearean. Oh God, no, it was Richard III. Incidental music for Richard III, which is quite fascinating. I learned many things about Shakespeare from actually doing the music. But anyway, that's a different story, I suppose.
What was it? What was the Shakespeare company that you were with in Brisbane? It was just called the
Queensland Shakespeare
Queensland
Ensemble.
Shakespeare Ensemble. Yeah, cool. And you were that, and you were with them for quite a few years.
I think I was with him for like 5 years or something. And then I realized that it doesn't actually make you any money. Um,
Well, it doesn't go anywhere. I don't think.
well, it was one of these things. I realized that I could have a day job and my acting career, so to speak, and a girlfriend, but at any point, one of them would suffer.
Yes. You thought, right, I could start a family or continue playing Shakespeare.
Mm.
Let's go for family.
Or I could make no money,
Or you could make, yeah,
and
exactly.
I could like not have a day job. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't think this really
Yeah, that's
works.
right. You could cut all of those out of your life. I mean, that's definitely an option.
It's true.
Not one I'd suggest,
So,
but yeah. Anyway,
well, amazingly, it's not the one I took up. So since then, I attend a lot of theatre, and in the great tradition of ex-actors who now watch theatre, I tell people that things would be better if I was doing it. So,
I did notice that when you were playing. Well, not when you were playing, but when you came back, you had a lot to say. You had a lot to say about the producers and directors, and that's funny. Right,
so,
let's dive into this. You said to me
hmm
directly,
mm,
well, just now, that one of your other great interest is not just the theatre but in gaming, and I would say, yeah, that's
yes,
that's definitely true. Definitely more of a gamer than I am, because when you revealed how many games you have on your computer, I was genuinely surprised. I didn't think you had quite that many.
yeah,
So how many
yeah.
was it?
I'm a
Oh, we don't need to
weird
get into it
man.
now.
It's a very large number.
Yeah, it's a large number.
It's a very large number, and
But the
it's
reason we are
mm,
back is because we've been working on Phasmophobia. Well, working on Phasmophobia. Yes,
a little
that's
bit
right.
like that.
So yeah, sort of
We
like that. We've been playing Phasmophobia, and it's been bloody fun.
It has. It's been very good. Um, I've enjoyed Phasmophobia a great deal. I have found it a bit interesting as to why it works.
Hmm.
Um, So, I mean, should we start? This is actually at the end of our show notes
Oh,
about,
is it? I thought it was
what.
at the beginning because you said Stephen's anecdotes. My first experience playing Phasmophobia in multiplayer.
Well, yes, you see, there are I have two different Phasmophobia stories to
Ah, right.
discuss. You
Okay.
ready?
Go on.
One of them is why is Phasmophobia fun?
Hmm.
And the other is this is my random anecdote. So let's do the random
Please
anecdotes.
let's do the random anecdote.
Phasmophobia is the reason I, for the first time in a long time, rejoined random pickup groups in multiplayer.
Ah, I was wondering about that. Yeah, because
Yes.
I did see that, and I thought, hey, I wonder if people will allow a random person to just join their team. And I attempted that, and they kicked me off. I thought, well, that's it for me. I'm just going to stick with playing with Stephen from now on. But you got lucky. So how'd it go?
I persevered. I persevered. Well, my first experience was a little bit different to yours. One might say a little bit worse. So
Ah,
I joined in with the group, and as we know, I am not exactly a loquacious person. And I joined into the group, and I was the fourth of four players to join in. So I went, came into the lobby, and someone said, "Hello, where are you? Hey there, welcome here. Where are you from?" And I said, "Oh, hi there. I'm from Australia. Where are you from?" And they said, "Why do you want to know where we're from?" And I went, "What?"
because you
And
just
they
asked
said,
me.
"Are you a cop?" I'm like, I'm sorry?
And we're off.
Yes. It was like you and your CIA. And I'm thinking, are we talking like, are we in cross purposes? Maybe they're not talking to me. Like maybe this is something weird. And I said, can you actually hear me? I said, yeah, we can hear you. You and all your CIA mates. Yeah, why do you want to know where we're from? I'm like,
Yeah, they were
okay.
just playing around with you, but
Oh, obviously so.
yeah, but
I don't
that's
think
not
there was.
the best way to introduce yourselves as a group.
Well, it was just like, so, is this what you do? You hang around on hobbies waiting for fourth players to join you so that you can abuse them. Um, so obviously I just left and went to a different
Yeah,
chat room. No, is it a different room? But I quit and I was like, and that's why I don't play multiplayer gaming.
yeah. Fun times, fun times.
It's true. I found it a bit weird in most of the multiplayer games I have joined with Phasmophobia. Nobody says a damn thing.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Because we talk a lot. If we don't conduct thorough teamwork, we can't get shit done.
yeah, it's true.
So how come
It,
everyone's? How can you possibly be quiet in Phasmophobia? That doesn't make sense.
it doesn't make sense. I also just find it a bit weird in that doing a cooperative task simultaneously with three other people, and you don't even say hello. It's
Yeah,
like, it's like there's a bunch of guys digging a ditch, and you're going to help them dig the ditch, and you just walk up and start silently picking up a shovel and digging with them, and nobody makes eye contact, and you're like,
yeah.
this is strange. This is not this is not how
I
people
played
normally
games that are
interact.
like that, but I don't see how Phasmophobia can be like that. It is, and this is why I like it, because it just encourages people to talk. It encourages people to explain what they do, what they want to
Mm,
do.
it's true.
So
People
it is
just
weird
mm,
that you found yourself in the collection of really antisocial people. It is, but
yeah.
at the same time, I find it weird that maybe it's a different generation to us, Steve, because
Mm,
in Discord I have noticed I have been asked to speak to people in
yeah.
Discord, and I engage in a conversation for a while, and then after a while they just go silent, and I'm left going, what where do we go from here? I don't know what you want me to do, and it's just that sort of. I guess they're just looking for some sort of company while they have a computer game going on in the background. I'm I'm old fashioned. I remember when you used to have to ring people up, and if you did that, you had something to say. You know, if you're talking to
Or
someone, if you hear the chime go, you pick up the phone and you talk, right?
yeah, yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
But that has not happened.
Exactly what you mean.
But
It's true. It's just weird. I don't get it. I don't
yeah,
get it. I guess
are we
if I
saying that we're
wanted,
old, Steve?
I would never say that we're old. I'd just be it.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
I I think it's, to be honest, I think it's got less to do with our generation and more to do with just the conventions around multiplayer gaming on the internet,
All right.
which neither of us do much of.
No, but who knows?
So
We might get into it a little bit further because I know you do a lot of gaming, and you know, we might get into a bit of multiplayer. We get involved in the culture, the silent culture. Who knows?
we might, if I do, I think you can shoot me because I'm obviously a doppelganger of some sort. I don't think.
You can play Grand Theft Auto 5 and online, and you could you know, do the what are they doing? The role playing. Do a bit of role playing online and entertain
I
people.
could.
Isn't that
Well,
such a good idea?
I suppose. I mean, um, I have a feeling the answer is no,
Yeah,
but I couldn't tell you why. I don't
but
know.
you have a theory, is that right?
No,
About
I
the
don't
game?
know. I don't actually know much about GTA 5. I played GTA 3, and for some reason, like I played GTA 3, I enjoyed it, and I just felt like, I don't need to play this again. So I've never played any of the sequels. Just like, no, no, I've done that. I've
I
had
have,
enough.
and I enjoyed it. I'm not ashamed to say I had fun stealing cars.
Yes, I've been there. I got the t-shirt.
Yeah.
I don't feel compelled to go back.
Mm.
Um,
But what's your theory about the Phasmophobia game?
okay, so this is my thing with Phasmophobia, something I find interesting. I think the reason, the comment I made about Phasmophobia is this: it is soaring off the branch that it's sitting on.
Right. Now tell me
And
why you're saying that.
okay, what I mean by that is that it is it has a particular thing which is, its big selling point, like it's why it's good, which is the atmosphere. But it then encourages the players to do things that actively destroy the atmosphere.
Oh yes, you did. We did discuss this beforehand because yeah, it encourages you to attempt to ignore the atmosphere. It
Mm,
encourages you to try and ignore the terror that's going on and
because
turn it
it's
into a
not
numbers game.
actually, yeah, yeah, it encourages you to turn it into a numbers game, and at that point, you may as well be playing backgammon.
I
But
mean, that's not a bad game.
yeah, it's a very long game, but it's nobody boots up Phasmophobia because they go, this game looks interesting. I bet it's like backgammon. Um, but that's kind of what it's like. Like when you and I play it, and it's partially our personalities. We get really into the atmosphere. We get freaked out. Like you posted that little clip on today, the 8 seconds where the ghosts talk to me,
Oh yeah, that's
and
wonderful.
like yeah, that was one. But it was like you can. I don't know if you can tell from my voice, but I'm genuinely terrified.
Yeah, I've been showing people. I've been saying, look, when you hear us get freaked out, that's genuine. That's
Yeah,
genuine stuff. And in turn, that's fun. That's why people want to go to haunted houses and watch
yeah.
scary movies. That's the whole point, right?
That's why it's fun. But the thing is, the game rewards progression as a
Yeah,
pure numbers game. So the thing is, while that game it freaked us out because we let it. Like the ghost speaking to us can't hurt us
true.
at all. There was, from a numbers perspective, we were perfectly safe, absolutely perfectly safe. So yeah, and even if so the game encouraged us to just be in that room, rapid fire questions to the ghost because you don't want to waste any time. Where, hey, time is money, man, and we're here to make cash, not like indulge in the setting. Um, you rapid fire off questions. The ghost gives an answer. You don't bother listening to it because it doesn't matter what it says, and then you just dump the spirit box and go, oh, okay, so that's one piece of evidence. Um, and then run off. And that's what I mean by it encourages you to adopt behaviors which make the game less engaging.
But here's an interesting point. How
Mm.
long do you think, on average, the average game takes before it becomes monotonous and you just stop playing? On average.
The average game, what do you mean? Like the average game, session of Phasmophobia, or the average
Um,
like video game, or
I'm not.
what?
I think I'm just in general. Like you've got a new toy. You've got Grand Theft Auto or Minecraft or something. How long
Mm.
before you get bored with it?
Well, look, obviously it depends on the game, but I
Yeah,
think I
that
know where
that
you're
that
getting
was a
at.
moot question. You are right there.
Well,
That's
I
true.
know
I'm
where you're
just trying
getting
to. I'm
at.
just trying to think because
The average playtime, because Steam records these things, the average playtime for Phasmophobia, as in not one session, but the amount of time that people play it, is 12 hours, which is
really,
pretty good. Yeah.
I can't see
So
myself playing that game for 12 hours.
I think I've already exceeded it. Not in
Ah.
one session, that's like in total. Like
Oh, I see. I see
the
what you're talking. Yeah.
summary of. So I've played it for 14.7 hours in total, so I'm already above the average.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's have. Let me have a look here. What's Phasmophobia for me? I played it for 14.9 hours, so it's about the same.
Yeah, so, there we go.
I guess in
But
the
it
end
should,
we just play it until, at the moment it doesn't become fun, we'll just stop, you know.
yeah, I mean that's generally
And
the
part of the fun
the
is the fact
secret,
that we
isn't it?
do get scared,
It
which I
is.
think
That's the
is
thing.
great.
Like,
I think it's a great form of artwork, you know. I
Yeah.
think it really is pretty damn good. I know that it rewards progression and so therefore removes that desire to be scared, but honestly I think it's sort of it's just a natural process of most computer games. I think that's just the way it is. It seems more visceral because it's a horror game, but
Yeah.
it's normal. It's very, very normal. We're just noticing it a lot more because it's such an egregious
Yeah. Such a
artwork,
strong.
you
Yeah.
know. So,
Yeah. No, I
that's fine.
understand.
It's just normal. That's just how it works.
I suppose usually games don't sell themselves so much on their atmosphere,
That's
but
true,
I
and this one
guess
does. So,
yeah, this
well
one
done.
does. Although, like 12 hours is a fair chunk of time. Like we've devoted quite a lot of time to something that's quite repetitive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it
So
could have been basically what you're saying is it could have been so much worse. It could have, it really could have, but it's doing such a good job for us.
yeah,
So
it is. Particular, for a game that's in early access and has quite a lot of like, not just bugs but bad things. I still find the way that, the opening and closing of doors utterly painful in that game.
yeah, that is weird. I will
Oh, it's
definitely
just
grant you that.
awful. Um,
All right, well, we'll put a veil over this now. Thank you for giving your opinions. That's cool.
yes,
Let's
yes.
see. If we go over to the... What else have we got here? Ah, right. Yeah. I discussed this with you a while ago, and
Yes.
yeah, I've said all I needed to say to you, but we haven't put it onto a podcast before, and that's NFTs. Now,
NFTs.
yeah. Now I'm being asked to do a bunch of NFTs for my work.
Mm.
And it says in that sentence right there, it says NFTs. I hate myself.
Do explain. Do explain.
The fact, if anyone's wondering what an NFT is, please explain, Alex. I'm not going to do that because I'm each time I think I understand, I just don't. I really don't. As far as what I understand, it's kind of another way of owning something. The metaphor that I have heard is if you can imagine, and this is based upon a real place, but the facts don't matter. I'm doing a metaphor here. There is a tribe in an island-like country, of which they use wheels, large rock wheels, as a form of currency. And the larger
Oh
the
yes, I've
wheel,
heard of this.
the larger the
Yeah, yeah,
wheel, the bigger the wealth. Okay, my wheel bigger than yours, etc.
yeah. I've heard of
Now,
that. I've heard of that place. Yes.
yeah, absolutely. And turns out the more, hang on, let me get a good open link in, open image in new tab. There we go. There we are. The more wealth you have, the bigger the wheel is. Okay, and there's several times in which people in this village have conducted whatever transactions, and they say, right, all of my wealth goes to you, and in return I get your farm, etc., etc. And there's been times in which the rock wheel has been so large they cannot be moved. I cannot take that wheel. I can't take
They
that
even
giant
have
rock. So what
they
they
even
do
have
is
some which
say,
are under the which are they had some which were on a shipwreck and
yep,
at the bottom of the ocean.
that's right. So they just say, right, that wheel of that giant rock there, that's mine. That's Stevens, whatever. Everyone knows that's Steven, and everyone goes, yep, no, that's fine. Everyone gets that. I get it. I get it. That's cool. We don't need to put it anywhere. Everyone knows that's Steven's wheel. And as you pointed out, there was once a time in which it was on a ship. It sank, and the concept was, okay, it's at the bottom of this large body of water, but it's still Steven's giant rock wheel. It's still yours. Let's still have it in circulation. Doesn't matter. We're not going to use it as a loss. We're just going to say, right, that's still yours. That's yours. That's fine.
Yeah, that's
That,
right.
those giant wheels, those giant rock commodities are NFTs. That's the metaphor that's used right there.
Okay.
Now let me explain why I hate myself. I've spent a lot of time arguing for conceptual art and postmodern art and contemporary
Yeah.
art in many, many different types of ways, of which everyone says, why is this considered art? I don't get it. I don't get what's going on here. And I'm going, well, let me explain in this very long edited video of mine. And I've been doing that for the past 10 years or so. For as long as I started university, I've
Yeah.
defended conceptual art. I walk in, there's a bunch of pineapples on the ground. I don't understand what that is, but you know what? I love it. Art. Cool. So now all of a sudden we have this new age of artworks to spread amongst the uber wealthy, and I have no right to complain about them. They look stupid, they look cheap, they look terrible, but I'm not going to complain about them because two things. First of all, I have defended conceptual art for 10 to 20 years by this point.
Yeah.
And second point is, I don't want to be one of those guys who doesn't understand the way kids work. I don't want to be one of the, once you get past the age of 35, you start to go, everything that's new and is stupid, and the kids are weird and wrong, and this is terrible. Get out of here. I don't want to be that guy.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, no, fair enough. Well, I suppose particularly in art, I guess the thing is, um, well, I was about to defend how you could hate NFTs and yet, and like conceptual art, and those two stances aren't contradictory. I was going to defend that,
Go on.
and then I thought I kind of can't. Like,
I know, as much as I
it,
want to as well, I can't.
mm,
I can't either.
I was going to say, oh, but it's so, the NFTs, they're just, they're so pointless in that you can just copy and paste it. Like, you're not actually buying anything of note. And then
Yeah,
I
you might
thought,
as well just say, well, my 4-year-old could paint that.
it's more, I think it's more than that in the sense that, it's like that. What's that artwork where it's a banana sticky taped to a,
Yeah, that's a conceptual work that I was yeah, I don't know what it's called, but that guy has gone on record to do a whole bunch. I think on this show, in fact, I think on this podcast, I mentioned it, as well as a few
yeah.
other things that he has done. One of which is a golden toilet.
Oh, yes. But you see, the golden toilet actually seems to be communicating something. And I suppose perhaps this is more a significant distinction we should draw here. Um, NFTs are not individual artworks, they're a platform. They are a medium. They're a form of, in fact, they're kind of not even that. They're more
It's
like
not even a medium.
NFTs are
It's
like
just an NFT is just a
a form
different
of
way
ownership.
of owning something.
Yeah, it's just a form of ownership. And, so it's a bit hard to talk about sorry, it's very easy to confuse discussing whether the form of ownership is meaningful with the artwork that is in fact owned,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I guess here's the thing. The banana sticky tape to the wall as an artwork, like I get it,
Yeah,
actually.
the ownership of that is not the banana or the sticky tape. Otherwise, you know, well, what's the point? Because it was so unbelievably expensive.
Yeah,
It was a
which is the
concept that someone paid money for, and
yeah,
I'm not saying it's good because the concept behind a lot of his works would be basically look at how stupid people are by buying really expensive, pointless objects.
yeah.
Like me,
That's
this
the
is what
point.
I'm doing. Let me show you the joke, and then people got the joke and then bought the expensive object anyway.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, like, I can even understand why, if you were an insanely wealthy person to whom
Yeah.
such sums were meaningless,
Mm-hmm.
you might do it because then you're taking part of the joke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
it's a bit like a setup. It's like, in a sense, it's, a guy standing there going, why did the chicken, saying knock knock. Like eventually somebody's kind of go up and go, who's there? And it's not because they don't get that they're part of a joke.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah, let's join in.
yeah, let's join in the
So,
fun.
in the end, the reason why I will still take part in this weird NFT creation, I'm just going to hate myself when I do it. That's all. And I'm sure you understand that. I
Yeah.
myself will take part in the joke, Stephen. I myself will take part in the joke, and then I will. I don't hate NFTs. I hate myself, Stephen.
Well, Alex, I must say that just sounds like the healthiest approach.
I mean, I'm here for you. That's the way it works. All right, over to you,
Oh
dude.
dear.
I've had my
Oh,
rant.
you've had your rant. Um, Okay, well, what did I have? Okay, well, did you want to move on from the anecdotes to the news sections, or?
News. I have no news. Oh, I do have news. I just have a wine.
That's
But
all right.
you
Well,
do the news. You news me.
okay, I'll news you. Well, first up, I want to say, do we have to talk about Djokovic?
No, we don't.
Um, Good. Let's not.
Okay.
Um, because I feel like, I feel like everything that has been said about, that there is to say about Djokovic has already been said. The only thing I will, okay, having said that, I will then proceed to say something which has already been said
All
because
right. Let me
obviously
find
I
let me
can't
find
help
a picture of
myself.
Djokovic for you. And oh,
Yay.
this is a good picture. Hang on. Let me
I want to
let me
see.
open this up. Oh, by the way, I've got by Izu. I think you might have seen. I've got curtains. Let's open the
Yes, I
curtains
like the curtains.
like curtains. Let's do this. Da,
Mm.
da, 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 da. There he is. Okay,
Oh my God.
that was stupid. Anyway, if you have any, um, if you have any positions on this, now is the time to do it because I have
Okay.
zero opinion on it.
All right. All right. Do you know what happened with him, Alex?
Let me think. Was is he denied entry into Australia because he was infected or did not apply to COVID rules or something like that?
Okay. All right. We are apparently going to talk about Djokovic.
I
This is
don't.
what happened.
Okay.
Okay. This is what happened. Djokovic came into the country. I'm not entirely across the specifics, but it appears that for whatever reason, he didn't have he's not vaccinated. He's obviously an anti-vaxxer,
Ah, right.
and
Okay.
and he, there was some sounds about getting him an official exemption from the rules. Oh, opinion. He fucked around and got found out. Oh yeah, yeah. I, Arturis
Oh yeah, wasn't he the
Diablo.
one who was asked, "Are you vaccinated, and he said, "Yeah, I'm vaccinated." But he was using his
No,
own
no,
way of
that
saying
was an American
vaccinated.
football player. That was an American football player. From what I can gather, this is what happened. He's coming over to Australia. His his crew, thought he had an exemption from needing to be vaccinated. They arrived in Australia, and from what appears to be a paperwork stuff up within Australia, they gave the impression that he would be granted an exemption, but he was in fact not granted an exemption.
Ah,
So they said, no, look, we have a rule, which is if you come into this country, you have to be COVID vaccinated. So you can either get yourself vaccinated, or you can get the hell out. And then he said, well, the rule is you have to be vaccinated or you have to have a medical exemption from being vaccinated. Isn't that the rule? And they went like, well, yeah, I guess so. And he said, well, what a coincidence. I got COVID, you know, last week, and I didn't tell anyone about it at the time, but it's true. And
I had
because
no
I've
idea it
had
was that stupid. Okay, so
because I've had COVID recently, that means that I'm not allowed to get a vaccine. So therefore,
no,
here's a medical certificate giving me an exemption, so I can come in the country now.
here's no medical exemption from not getting a thing. You got COVID. No,
Well, you see, and
that
here's
is
the
that is
thing.
that is much dumber than I thought it was gonna
Well,
be.
he had COVID. His story was that he had COVID. But the thing is, of course, yeah, it says, "Thank you, actress Sadiabo." It's quite confusing, but I think that's it. The thing is, like, it's obviously a lie. Like, seriously, he's just made it up. Um,
Sure.
and this is when, he started saying that, and it came out with, like a reporter going, hang on, I did an interview with you while you had COVID, and like we were in the same room. and,
Yeah.
and he said, oh, well, it was such an important interview. I didn't want to disappoint you by not doing it. The
This
reporter's
gets
like,
dumber and dumber the more I hear about it.
if you have a serious infectious disease, please don't turn up. Feel obligated to do my interviews. But this is the thing. Like, Djokovic is in court, and he goes and he gives sworn evidence that he had COVID. And while there was some fishy stuff about it, I've read that he turned up with documentation from Serbia saying, "Oh yeah, this guy had COVID on day X." And and the thing is, of course, from the court's perspective, they'll go, "Well, we assume that people are telling the truth unless there's a reason to believe they're lying."
Yeah.
So there's no actual evidence. Like, there is evidence that he had COVID. There is no, it's extremely convenient, but there's no evidence that he doesn't have that. That any of that is wrong. So, okay, so he got allowed into the country. So that was how.
Wow, I've never heard of a deadly disease being used as a false negative to create a loophole to do this in such. This is one of the dumbest loopholes I've heard in such a long time. I avoided this simply because it was a sports player talking about stupid things. I immediately went, yeah,
No,
let's not. I don't need to. I don't need to
I'm not just
worry
talking
about
about
this.
this because it's a sports player. As Arcturus Diablo has got here, infectious and potentially deadly, and lying about it. It's just,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You
it's
clearly have
breathtaking.
heard more about it, and then he went, "This is so stupid. Why? Oh my god!"
Well, the thing is, okay, so you can see, sorry, the lengths people will go to, oh, I know. So I agree,
Justify any
Arcturus
sense
said
of public
Diablo.
safety is just mind blowing. Yep.
It drives me up the wall, this argument about, oh, it's, like surely it's my personal responsibility. And it's like, oh, and the analogy has been made many, many times. But like, if I go screaming down the highway at 110 k's an hour in the wrong lane, screaming personal responsibility, like that's not going to be a defense. You know, if when
No,
I wipe some poor bastard out coming the other direction,
no. What the hell?
but that's exactly what the mentality is. Is
There's a
like,
lot of people that realize that, my body, my choice. Well, it's not really. The whole point of this vaccination argument is
not
that you're protecting other people, not you.
yeah, not when it's an infectious disease.
Yeah.
Um, you are making other people's choices for them in a
Yeah,
sense. But
that's not cool. I mean, I can understand that argument if it's for, I don't know, abortion, or whether you're, doing plastic surgery, or anything that just involves you. But
yeah,
this isn't a my
it's not
body, my choice situation anymore. Sorry,
no.
everyone. I realize
It's
how terrifying this sounds. I really do.
oh,
I do not want to be on this side of the argument. I really, really don't. But this isn't your choice. This is your choice that you're making for other people.
the comment there is it's not your choice to put a potentially deadly disease into my body. I agree.
Yeah.
That is exactly the point.
What if you
Djokovic,
say that
this is
it's not
where it gets weird. Weirder.
it's my religious choice not to be infected. So you need to.
Like it's just it's logically, logically it's just a bit of a nonsense. Djokovic. Okay, this is where it gets weirder, right?
Oh, now it
He's
gets
a
weird.
oh, so he's allowed into the country. Okay,
Okay.
but it comes out that he yeah, he claims it was a mistake. Other people say it's lying. I'll leave you to judge. But
Sure.
he wrote on the sworn declaration when he entered the country that he had not travelled to any other nations in the 14 days prior to coming to Australia. He
Sure.
had. He'd been to Spain for that
Why
interview, I
would he
think it
say
was.
that?
But
That can be proven. That
yeah,
can be disproven
well,
very, very quickly. Why would he say things like that?
probably because when he filled it out, nobody was looking at it terribly closely. He thought he'd just get into the country and that'd be the end of it. But
God.
okay, so he lied on the form. And I don't quite understand if that enlivened the minister's power or what have you, but this sort of became a deal. And then the minister, the government minister for immigration, said, "Well, look, I now have a discretion that I can exercise to not allow you into the country, and I'm going to. I'm just going to exercise my discretion to kick you out of the nation, not because our laws require you to have a vaccine. They don't. Not because you lied on your entry form coming into the nation, not because you went to Spain, but because I consider that your presence here is a threat to public safety because you are a known figure for anti-vax sentiment."
Okay, no, no, no. If you're gonna get someone, get them for what they are publicly accused of. It's like having Al Capone, taken to jail because of tax evasion. Like, yeah, the
Yeah,
point is we got him. No, no, that's beside the whole point. You
well, I
know.
mean, if you can get into tax evasion because it's true, okay. But the thing is like after all that, and I find it, irritating and highly sus that the guy, magically got COVID. How convenient. But I don't like the idea with just kicking him out of the country on the minister's complete discretion on the basis that he was a threat to public safety because he was known to possess anti-vax views.
Yeah, but this
And
is this has happened before in Australia, and I don't agree with it. There's a lot of opinionated celebrities that have been denied access to Australia, and I don't agree with that.
yeah, the comment there is you get them for what you can prove, and I agree when that's Al Capone, like, and I don't, in the sense that if Al Capone engaged in tax evasion, you get him for tax evasion.
Sure.
But what I don't like about this is that, well, I suppose 2 points. One, I'm uncomfortable with a setup where a minister can just go, look, yeah, you haven't broken any of our laws, but I'm just not going to let you into this country because I don't like your opinions.
Yeah, that's wrong.
And in this case, like
It is
Australia has
getting
kicked people
ridiculous.
out on that. Australia has revoked visas in the past on that basis, but they've been normally for people coming here on speaking tours, like Milo Yiannopoulos, who, and I forget his details, but like, some of those, extreme Meninist types who,
Mm,
arguing things like, I want the law changed so that it's only rape if it's on public property. If it's on private property, then it's not rape. And I'm going to go do a speaking tour to promote that idea. Like, I'm still not comfortable with the idea of revoking a visa because you don't like somebody's opinions. But at
sure.
least they were coming to the nation for the express purpose of spreading those ideas.
Also,
And I
I
don't
want
think,
you. I want to point out the idea of the idea of freedom of speech. Freedom of speech has limits. People keep on forgetting that.
yeah, of course.
Freedom of speech, if you thoroughly say in public that someone should be killed, that's the line that has been crossed. You know.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Look, no right is absolute, and the freedom of speech is the same thing. But um, I guess I'm uncomfortable with, as a general concept, I'm uncomfortable with crossing that, yeah, with this as a
no,
rule.
I completely agree.
And
It
even if,
annoys me when, you know, we've got a genuine reason to deny entry to this person, and instead we're using "I don't agree with you" as
yeah, I'm guessing that him filling out the Spain form, the form incorrectly was for whatever reason not sufficient to kick him out the nation. Possibly because his explanation was it was a mistake. And again, you have the same thing where it's like, well, how are you going to prove he's lying?
yeah.
It's
But
convenient. It,
it's not just one thing, is it? Oh, we're getting into semantics here. God knows what. It's hard to know what he's thinking.
well, I don't think a court of look finding somebody is lying is a serious thing, and courts don't do it lightly.
Sure.
Um, they'll find people are wrong or mistaken fairly quickly. Like often people are wrong or mistaken. Other people, obviously, not myself. But the but that's a different kettle of fish to saying somebody was lying. And this guy said, "Look, I made a mistake." And it's a
Right.
believable story in the sense that the guy's based in Europe. He's probably, got a very jam-packed thing. He just got the time frames wrong. I'm not saying,
But
I'm not saying that it's true.
isn't
Just
the
believable.
concept of putting someone away is not one form of evidence? It's a collaboration of several different forms of evidence, and by what?
Circumstantial evidence is what you're referring to.
Yeah.
It's where you have a number of pieces of evidence. But here's the thing. You want to prove, let's say you're the minister and you're like, gotcha, this guy's lied on his form to come into Australia. And you go, okay. If he had told the truth and said that he had been to Spain, would we let him into the nation? And let's assume the answer is yes, he would have. Like there's nothing special about Spain, you would have let him into the country. Okay, so then we're talking about, him lying on the form. And if you can prove that he consciously and actively and deliberately lied on the form, you can kick him out. But if it's just a mistake, you can't. You're in court, and the judge is going, all right, prove to us that he lied on this form. And you go, well, last week he claimed he had COVID, and that was very convenient. And this is very convenient. And the judge will look at you and go, what the hell does him saying he had COVID last week have to do with him now saying that he forgot he went to Spain?
I guess I'm looking at this in a different way.
If you could, like, if you got a string of like things like that, like more than two, maybe, but you can see that the two don't really connect. Um,
I guess
and even
not.
if they did, even if like okay, even if it somehow came out that he lied about the COVID-19 thing, that doesn't mean that he's lying about forgetting to go to Spain, because the court still needs to look at that and go, well, should I accept his evidence that he just forgot? And they'd probably produce his diary and go, this guy has a very full diary. He's all over the shop. He has minders. It's entirely believable that, he just would have got his weeks confused when he was filling out the form and didn't think it was a big deal. And as it so happens, it's not a big deal, because if you'd filled it out correctly, you would have let him in the nation, let him in the country.
Huh.
So it's one of these things in the end of it with Djokovic, in that I'm glad he got kicked out of the country. I'm not going to pretend that I'm unhappy with the result. I just don't agree with the basis upon which it happened, and I'm not the sort of person who generally believes that the ends justify the means.
Yeah, as soon as you say the ends justify the means, you are no longer the good guy. You are the bad guy.
Yeah, well,
in my
there's
opinion.
limits to everything, but yeah, I know what you mean. Anyway, that
All
was
right, can we
my.
stop talking about him now? I'm done.
Yeah, let's stop talking about
I'm
Djokovic.
done.
I'm sick of him.
Let's pull the curtain on him. There we are.
Woo.
Bye bye.
Bye
What
bye.
was your? Yeah, you can you can delete that from the.
I'm deleting it from the speaking notes.
Please, yeah, we'll do that. I'll talk to you about this later on because I'm a little interested in this. Um, I'll have a quick rant about our delightful Prime Minister.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is still your Prime Minister?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's been talking like he was about to resign.
Of course, people are talking. Everyone talks about every single time a prime minister gets into trouble. They go, "Oh, this is the end days for so and so," and I'm going, "No, it's not. I know it's not. Everyone knows it's not really." Now, yeah, look, my first thing is, in case people don't know, in case you've been
Thank
under
you
a
for
rock,
subscribing.
and
Your
Max
dedication
Wattage, thank you
and
so much.
contributions will be noted.
Thank you, Max.
Thanks for the
Hello.
sub. Appreciate it. Boris Johnson is Max Wattage's Prime Minister as well. Here's the thing. He's in hot water because he and his cabinet put on a party in number 10 Downing Street. Last year. No, was it last year? Yes. When it was expected that everyone was supposed to be away from their families because of COVID restrictions. That is it. And so because of this, because he went to a party when everyone else was not allowed to, he's in a lot of hot water. And he keeps on lying and then coming back with something else, and then something else comes up and says, no, he was at the party, he was enjoying himself, he was taking part in the pub quiz, etc., blah, blah, blah. And I'm left going, of all the things to be angry about from this man, why is it this? This is the moment that breaks the camel's back. This? He lied about going to a party? Of course he does that. He's the Prime Minister. He lies. And then it goes, everyone would do this if they could. Most people, I assure you, most people lied about going to parties during the pandemic. That happened constantly. I assure you, Steve. So the most relatable thing about this man lying and going to a party is the thing that's apparently going to break him. No, of course not. And look at that. It didn't happen. He didn't resign. He was not kicked out. No leader could possibly either resign or be kicked out in this post-Trump world. He's just there going, nope, I don't care. I was there. Whatever. You can lie through your teeth. Doesn't matter.
I like the comment there. It's like taking down Hitler for stepping on the cracks in the pavement.
Ah, we got him. We got him. We got him.
Yeah, right. You wanted to break your mother's back. Um,
Exactly. Like, really? Why is
yeah,
everyone so
no,
angry about this? It's stupid. I hate the man, but this?
I could look. I understand. The first time I saw it was a UK political thing on YouTube that I follow sometimes. It was too long. Didn't was it TLDR news?
Yeah,
You
sure.
know, and they're going on about this, going, oh, this is a big deal. It's going to destroy the government. And I was just thinking, like, is anyone surprised? Like, particularly Boris Johnson. Like, as I was watching the clip, and I said, when you told me that, Boris Johnson went to a party during lockdown and lied about it, I'm like, of course he did.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
of course he
But
did. That doesn't
what is
surprise me.
weird is that a lot of people, it's actually working. A lot of conservative voters are going, how dare he do that? Really? This is what you're angry about. This is what you're angry about. And furthermore, you're still going to vote for him. You idiot. You wanker.
Oh, yeah. You see, that's the thing. I just, you know,
There are so many reasons
I'm
why this is a non-story, and that fact that it's a non-story makes it so depressing.
the only rational explanation I can give it is that Bonson,
Bonson,
that
good old
Johnson,
Bonson. Look, he looks
Bonson,
he looks like a clown, Bonson the clown.
Bonson the bozo. Um, the only thing I can think of is that Boris Johnson has had so many, various stuff ups and screw ups over time that eventually it just sort of reaches a point where people go, I've had it. Like I've had it. Um,
Oh,
or more to the point, perhaps the people inside his party room go, mate, you've been on walking on thin ice for we're gonna back somebody else because we're just sick of dealing with you. That's the only thing I can think of, that it's like a straw that broke the camel's back
I will
scenario.
I will agree with you, but at the same time, no backs have been broken. The only way he's gonna go is if the Queen directly fires him, and that's not gonna happen.
Well, that's not going to happen. That would be a massive constitutional issue. The only way he would go, I would think, would be if loses power as PM in the way that everybody loses power as PM.
Yeah, and
They
everyone's gonna
suddenly
vote for
they're
him. Last time we had an
well,
election, he rose in popularity.
well. Don't forget that's not the only. He's not president.
Well, no, that's
Like his
true.
own party can make him not the prime minister
Oh,
anymore.
of course.
Like, as you'll remember, of course, in Australia, we're very good at that. Haven't done it for a bit, but we really had a really had a string of them for a while there.
Oh, we have a we
Um,
have a we have an opinion here. I suspect that it is the only bad thing that he has done that the conservative voters have got to read about via the right wing press and their
yeah, that could be
customized
it.
social media bubbles.
Like, I think gets people, what brings politicians down, and and everyone in general, is when expectations are broken. So
Sure.
I think one of the things with Trump, for instance, is that he engaged in stuff which was horrific, but because his supporters kind of expected him to do it,
Yeah.
to say these things. In fact, there were a lot of them were supporting him because he said these things.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't breaking any expectations, um, no one really cared. The thing which amazed me about Trump and depressed me greatly, and I think I've said it previously, is that he would just tell the most barefaced lies about the most inane shit. Like, the sun was shining on my inauguration. It's like, mate, people were there. We
Yeah.
have the weather reports. Like, that's like, it doesn't
I
matter,
I,
but
I
it's
tell you what,
nonsense.
I wanted to repeat a quote that you made years ago, and
Mm.
I absolutely loved it, and I wrote it down, and
Oh,
it's this.
oh, right.
All right.
Yes.
The human The human capacity for self-deception is limitless. People can convince themselves of anything. It's breathtaking to watch. Cognitive dissonance take flight.
I can't believe you wrote that down.
That's because it is it is so good. It is such a great line, and it's so true. My hero can directly look at me in the, and this goes for anyone's hero, my hero, your hero. They can look at us directly in the eye and say, the sky is green. And I will try and figure out a way to make that true.
Yeah, it's very
I will
true.
find a way to believe that.
Yeah, I agree. It's
It goes for anybody.
yes. Yeah, it does. It
It
does.
goes for
And that's
Boris
the thing that's
supporters. It
worth
goes
remembering.
for Trump supporters. It goes for any left-wing leaning supporters. If the support is strong enough, you will try and find a way to say that this bollocks
Yeah,
is correct.
you lie to yourself,
Yeah.
and that's just what we do.
The easiest person
It's
you can lie
it's
to
just
is
a human
yourself.
trait. Yeah, it's just a human trait.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
Let's
the
put a veil over Boris now, because I'm
sure.
sick of him. Let's
Okay, that's fair
let's
enough.
go away. Right, your
That's
turn.
fair
I've
enough.
been ranting a
Okay,
while.
all right. Let's jump from news to talk about culture.
Yeah,
All
please. Yeah,
right,
let's
we've
do
talked
that.
about some depressing things, so let's talk about something positive.
Cool. Yeah,
I
because
have a
this
new
is
love
two
in my
smart arts
life.
after all, not two
It is
whiners complaining about politics.
politics. Okay, I have a new love in my life.
Go on.
You ready?
Yes.
It's a band. It's,
Ah.
it's a band. It's called Ningen Isu, or
Now, is
they're
this
called Ning.
the Japanese band that
Yes,
has that guy that's got face paint? Yes, that's right.
yes. You've got to put up a photo of
Oh,
Ningen
I
Isu.
am. I am doing that.
Ningen
I'm doing that right
Isu,
now.
which translates as human chair. Now,
Brilliant. All right, hang on.
so the Japanese heavy metal. I'm not a metalhead, uh, like in particular. I guess I like occasional amounts of metal, but this band just got me. They floated across my Facebook feed a while back with a friend of mine who was um, joking about them, saying, "Hey, look, it's Priest rock." And you see the guy on the left of that screen, that makeup is I forget the exact Japanese tradition, but it's a so what is it's I think it's they're dressed as Japanese priest, I believe, on the far
Okay,
left,
sure.
a scholar in the middle, and yakuza on the right.
Really? Okay, so they're going all, not all, they're
They
going for
look
a
like when you
wide
get your
range.
yakuza from Wish. Yeah, the
Yeah,
guy
you
on the
get all
right.
Yakuza from Wish. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what they're doing. So they're obviously pitching themselves to the Japanese audience. So this is a reference, this is visual references which are understood to their audience. I thought the guy on the left was actually Japanese no drama, but apparently it's associated with priests. I don't quite get the connection. So it's priest, scholar, yakuza, and they only sing in Japanese, but they've started putting up English translations of their stuff. It seems they've started to get a following in the UK. Um,
Okay.
very rarely say um, that I got into these guys first. A lot of what they do is they sing about reasons I find them interesting. They do tend to sing about Japanese like literature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the Japanese literature, they'll sing about great, do songs based on Japanese great works.
I
Um,
did not know this because you sent me a link to this like a couple of years ago, and I saw, I listened to a few of the songs and I went, oh yeah, all right, fair enough. But I had a bit of a disconnect because they're singing in just Japanese. So, how important is the content of Japanese literature, as you say?
You see, I don't. Look, I'm not an expert in Japanese culture at
Sure.
all. I just found it intriguing, and I found that listening to some of their songs. So, like, they released one recently called Toshi Syun, and I just thought this was fascinating. So I looked up, okay, why are you singing about Toshi Syun? And it's this great, Japanese. It's a famous Japanese short story from the 1920s,
Huh.
and so it was just sort of this introduction into these great works I'd never heard of. And their stuff isn't all straight Japanese, or even based on literature. Other things I wanted to point out about them actually is apparently they're actually quite hard to understand even for Japanese people for two reasons. First, the main singer is from a remote part of Japan, such that his accent is extremely unusual.
Right.
And second, they deliberately use archaic forms of the Japanese language.
Wow. All right.
So it's like somebody singing in Shakespearean English.
I hear you. Yeah.
So apparently
But also in a heavy metal
in a heavy
growly
metal.
voice.
Well, it's not. No, it's not a growly voice. It's more of a. So the singer is actually the guy in the middle.
Sure.
So it's the bass player on the left, the singer in the middle, and the drummer on the right. And a lot of their lyrics are quite disturbing, quite frankly. So, for example, one of the songs I sent you was called. Oh no, I didn't send this to you. One of the songs I've recently got into is called "Life for Sale." But hang on, I'm going to Caterpillar lyrics, Mingan Isu. So this is one of their songs translated into English. The lyrics are basically as follows, which is it's called The Caterpillar. So you must excuse the bad meter in what I'm about to read because
Sure.
it's a straight translation. But how's this for a concept? Okay, the caterpillar. I just hide myself all day long, just eat all day long, having no idea, nothing to leave behind, nothing, nothing. I am a caterpillar, I just devour. I am a caterpillar, I just get fat. I just squirm in the dark, just wreathe in the dark. Nothing to get, nothing comes true, nothing, nothing. I am a caterpillar, just an ugly thing. I am a caterpillar, just a hungry creature. I am a caterpillar, just an unpleasant existence. Oh, I'm going rotten. A dirty lust seething underneath, a dirty lust stagnating in vain. Oh, I'm just withering, withering, withering.
Well, I think we've all been caterpillars at least a few times in our life.
The
But,
thing I find, sorry, go on.
well, I mean, if they're using a metaphor of a caterpillar,
Mm.
I mean,
Well,
that
that's a
says
mood.
that something's going
Yes,
to
it
happen,
is.
right?
Well, I guess that's the hope. And I think that's why the image sort of, kind of works, and that it's got that faint edge of hope to it,
Sure.
but it doesn't, but not immediately apparent. That's quite a dark image. And the thing is, of course, particularly, being blokes on the internet, it's an image that I think we're all familiar with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so, but you can see, and something I thought that it captured cleverly, which you rarely see when people are talking about, the angry internet trolls of the world, is the level of, it emphasizes on the self-loathing.
Sure.
I have a theory where, it's funny, I started this with, I wanted to talk about something uplifting.
No,
It's
no,
not
I
uplifting,
look,
it's just something I like.
I get it. But yeah, look, we all it all starts with something that we immediately empathize with and relate to. So
Mm.
of course, I understand that you would immediately look at this and think, yeah, I get it. I can sort of imagine you with your headphones on, wearing a heavy metal black T-shirt on in your parents' house. Just, you don't understand. I'm a caterpillar. Ah. because we've all
I
actually
had
been
this.
there. I get it.
Well, one of the things, now of course this is folding into my own politics again. But when I tend to come across people who are, hard alt-right types,
Ah,
like the I listen to Ben Shapiro, think people of the world, this kind of stuff. Generally speaking, they're extremely unhappy people. Like,
you've just
you know,
you've found that really?
oh yeah, yeah,
All
they're
right.
generally people who have got problems.
Ah,
In fact, I've found every single one of them that I've met has got problems, and they're usually desperately lonely. And quite frankly, that song really reminds me of it because it's not just the loneliness, it's the self-disgust.
yeah.
Um,
And they're
and
devouring just not just food but information. Just I'll I'll just keep on consuming and consuming and oh God, I hate myself so
I
much.
just squirm in the dark, just wreathe in the dark. And you'll notice at the end of the passage, it switches to speaking of, dirty lust seething underneath. So it's this, continuing self-disgust. And so I suppose I found lyrically that quite evocative of a certain personality type painted in the way that you don't normally see. So, and I guess that's the sort of thing why I just found them a fascinating
Sure.
band, even though I don't speak Japanese. Um, and of course, I could start talking about the music, but we're not really a music podcast, but musically, of course, they're extremely good at what they do. If you want something lighter, they did a song called what is it? Color Out of Space. I don't know if you can bring it up on your little screen
All
there.
right, hang on a second. Let me while I sort out my googling skills. What's it called?
Color Out of Space, Ninganisu, Ningenisu.
Are you going to ask me to play this? Because oh,
Not the
this
whole thing.
yeah, Color Out of Space, the Nicolas Cage movie. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, actually, it's from a H.P. Lovecraft short story.
Sure. Ah, so
But
this was
yeah, it's
before that. This was
originally Color Out of Space was a H.P.
yes,
Lovecraft
I do know
short
that bit.
story.
Yes.
It gets used a lot. So this is referring to well, I assume it's referring to the short story. So you can see it's the same sort of thing about doing songs based on works of literature.
Ah,
But
ha 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 ha. Yes, I found it. Yeah.
if you play it, the appropriate reaction can be laughter. It sure as hell was for me. Because this is a very different kind of thing. So yeah, we won't play. Don't play the whole thing, but if you can bring it up, just play the beginning or something.
I don't know how much of this I can play before copyright
So
says.
this is the clip that floated across my Facebook page as Priest Rock. Oh, I don't know. Oh, the sound, of course, doesn't work. Oh well, this possibly doesn't really work. Okay, so you can see it's doing this 1950s B horror thing mixed with the Japanese demon monk guy with the wish with the wish yakuza um, singing H.P. Lovecraft. It's just the weirdest mix.
I have no problems with this at all. I mean, I'm not laughing at these guys at all.
Oh yeah, I oh yes. So there is a version of this which has the English
I've
lyrics
worn
under
more embarrassing
subtitles.
things like that than that.
Yeah. Um. So yes.
No, I
Anyway,
approve. I'm gonna check them out, and I'm gonna if that is if that's a recommendation from you, I'm definitely gonna put it
it
in
is.
the in the comment section, and you can look that up and find a new fantastic band,
So
or
yes,
at least a
yes.
unique band.
Yep. We've been chowing on for about an hour 24, it seems. Would you like to round us? Would you like to finish this off, Alex, with something you've liked?
Yeah,
Or
we'll do one more, and we'll discuss the movie that I saw next week. But anyway, I've seen two
okay,
movies recently.
yeah.
One has got really really subtle metaphors,
Mm.
and one has got really not so subtle metaphors. And the one that
Don't
has
Look Up has subtle
yeah
metaphors.
the one that has not so subtle metaphors is Don't Look Up.
Ah, yes.
Now we have discussed this beforehand, so we don't have to go on too long. But basically speaking, it's the whole thing is a metaphor for. Look, if you have seen the trailer, you've got the whole concept of the movie. I'm not saying you shouldn't watch the movie. I'm saying, yeah, you've got it. You've basically got it. And it's not a bad
Okay.
movie either. I don't mind being beaten over the head with the message that they're trying to say. You know, I'd prefer that. I've got no real problem, especially seeing as it's a comedy.
Oh,
You know, it's a dark
you don't
comedy.
just.
I've got no problem with them having really, really thinly veiled metaphors in it.
Yeah.
And in case, on the off chance that you haven't seen the trailer or anything, it's a metaphor for oh no, there's a big disaster happening, whether it be climate change or COVID-19. Why
Mm.
is no one listening to us? Oh my God, for the love of God, just pay attention to this big giant rock that's just about to kill us all, for God's sake. That's yeah, I get it. That's not hard to understand what they're trying to say. There's but one of the things that I found really interesting and worth talking about is there was one moment where someone is wearing a badge that says, "Let's look up and down because both sides are equal." Like, no, no, that's that's not that's not how anything works. You know, sometimes there's an actual answer that you need to fight for.
Oh God, that's hilarious.
And it's that concept, and that the joke, there's a joke that John, was it John, what was it, last week
I feel like
tonight,
it. Oh, John Oliver.
John Oliver, sorry, yeah, John Oliver
Yeah.
made a fantastic joke which says that this sort of thing is it's like making a compromise between common sense and nonsense. You know, it's like saying, it would be really stupid of me to eat this entire bar of soap, so I'm just going to eat half of it. I thought, yeah, that's the. If you see the movie, it's genuinely a good movie. I'm not going to say anything particularly bad about it. I know that people get annoyed with having messages that are just beaten over the head, but I don't care. It's enjoyable. You know, and
I like the comment.
it all goes around with that one little badge joke with the up and down joke. I mean, that's just brilliant. Just
I love
because
the
this,
comment there. There were good people up and down.
yeah, there's good
Yes,
people both up
there were
and
good
down.
people on
Yeah,
both sides.
yeah, there's good there's good people on both sides of the argument here. And if you don't get that reference, but what you said recently was really interesting. Did you want to just repeat that before we head off?
What did I? What did I? Sorry, I want to clock Arcturus of Diablo. It's the main reason why I don't plan to watch a movie. Yeah, I can understand that. I don't plan to watch the movie. I think because I've seen the trailer, I get the joke. I
Yeah,
don't think
all
I
right.
really need to see that joke over 90 minutes.
No, that's fair
Um,
enough. That's fair enough. But I had 90 minutes to spare, so whatever.
yeah, fair enough.
But you had people that said the absolute opposite of what I got out of it. Is that right?
Oh, I did. I mean, I was hoping to end this on an uplifting note, but I'll be I'll end it on this note if you particularly want. Um, as we all know, "Don't Look Up" is an extremely thinly veiled um metaphor for climate change, unless you don't believe in climate change, apparently. In which case, it's then a thinly veiled metaphor for uh, immigration, for um, government overreach, for the evil Jewish socialist conspiracy that nobody's taking seriously.
Oh, don't forget the election that was stolen.
Oh, yes, of the stolen election. The reason I say this, and yes, admittedly, this is a very small sample size. Some friends of mine on Facebook who are, mad keen. They're American. They're mad keen Trump. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes, that was my reaction, Max Wattage. Um, I have these Facebook friends of mine, and, they're American. They're from, rural America. And they're all mad keen Trump supporters. They're, nuts in the sort of, this group of people in particular, were climate change is a hoax, fossil fuels is the way of the future,
Sure.
how could a little bit of carbon hurt us? And they were going on about Don't Look Up as a brilliant movie. And I was like, what? What? And then I was sort of reading this Facebook post, and they're going, oh, yeah, the only reason the mainstream media don't want to, Don't Look Up is because it's calling them out for the liars they have been. And I'm like, the mainstream media, you're always complaining that they're backing climate change
Yeah.
and critical race theory, which is evil for some reason. And then I suddenly realized these blokes saw it as metaphor for all of the weird things that they think are about to destroy humanity and how, you know, and how nobody's taking them seriously. And it's just, I, I just, I'll end it,
Um.
I suppose, with a quote of mine. It is a perfect example of that line that you cited back to me earlier, Alex, which is human capacity for self-deception is limitless. Absolutely limitless. You can watch that movie and convince yourself that it's actually supporting everything you believe.
So on that
And
wonderful, charming note, knowing that you can convince yourself of anything you want, um, which is
yeah,
kind of uplifting in its own disturbing way.
weird
I
way.
will say
Yes, I
thank
suppose
you
so.
everyone who has turned up to this podcast.
Yes,
Our
thank you
return to
very
the
much, everyone.
waves. It's been good,
It's
and
true. It's been very good. It's been very good. I hope we haven't depressed anyone too much.
oh,
Um,
we're fine. I have a strong audience. Everything's good. So I will say thank you guys for checking us out. It's been delightful. Thank you, Match Wattage, for that sub. That has been greatly appreciated. And thank
good.
you,
And
Steve,
nice.
for taking part. This has been Two Smart Arts.
It
I've been
has
Alexander
lovely comments there,
Davenport.
guys. Thank you very much. And yeah,
Yeah, and we will see you guys later. It's time to what's the phrase? Raid someone. So let's raid Valen because yeah, Valen's